Ooh, what up, though? It is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and man, was there a lot of stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling this past weekend, and we're going to talk to you all about that. We're going to talk about Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. We're going to talk about a lot of that stuff, but you know the drill. Before we do that, I got to tell you about our sponsors over at Potter's Tree Service. If you're in the need for tree removal, tree trimming, shipping service, storm damage cleanup, walnut logging, lot clearing, and if you just need your lawn cut, if you need somebody to come clean your lawn up, do the spring cleanup, get you ready for summer, take the job off your hands, Potter's Tree Service is the way to do that. All the services listed there. Check out this number. Check out the links in the description. Tell them Knockouts and Three Counts sent you, and you won't need Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You'll just need Asa and Potter's Tree Service. Enjoy the show.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Rock, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got it from their world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
What up, though? Like I said, it is another Tuesday, and man, do we got stuff to talk about here today. J-Bone, how you living after all this wrestling we had, bro?
Boy, man, what a weekend. You had lots of wrestling all weekend long. I'm not wore out. I never say I'm wore out from wrestling, right? But, geez Louise, from Friday to Monday, SmackDown to NXT to Money in the Bank, all that. Monday Night Raw last night. Tons to talk about, bro. Tons.
You're not kidding. With that said, what was your favorite show of the weekend?
Oh, definitely Money in the Bank. 100%. Money in the Bank delivered. All the Money in the Bank matches were sweet. I did have one issue with Money in the Bank. We'll get to it later on in the show, but it's a minor issue. It ain't nothing big, but I enjoyed it. Money in the Bank was probably my favorite show of the weekend.
Yeah, I can't argue that, man. But NXT, even though they're the quote-unquote developmental brand, dude, has been just killing.
Can't tell, though, can you?
Not at all, dude. Like I said, I mean, they've got a lot of them that are ready to go. And I think this infusion at NXT or TNA has helped them a lot, too.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's start with Money in the Bank, man. How many more times are we going to get before Drew McIntyre has an aneurysm?
Dude, I'm here for it, bro. Look, I know a lot of people are saying it's already like we've done this, all right? We already knew it was going to happen, right? But I love seeing Drew go on his rampages because he's doing a little more every time. We've seen him hit Adam Pearce, right? So you have pushed this guy to his very limits. And that match, when it finally pays off and Punk and Drew go at it, this whole buildup is going to be worth it, dude. This is probably the better rival on Monday Night Raw right now. I'm totally here for that.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue. I mean, Drew's been doing some of his best stuff, but man, you got to start to think that somebody's got a vendetta for him. See right there in the comments, Psychopath Drew is great. So breathe in a Psychopath Drew. What about Wade Barrett having to be like his like voice of reason?
Yeah. No, I dig that too. I like seeing Wade Barrett involved in anything pretty much. But dude, when he cashed in, like the guys that watch it, we knew how what was going to happen, right? We knew Punk was going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. But the Seth Rollins thing, that we just added a layer, man, and it kind of just didn't even cross my mind until it was happening that Seth Rollins kind of got screwed too. So we're planting seeds already for Rollins and Punk, which is going to be awesome. Now we knew that was supposed to happen last year, but this thing could go. There's so many ways it could go, so many avenues that the stories could go. But we got to get through the Drew and Punk thing first, which is going to be great. I know, look, I'm a big Punk fan, but I hope at least the beginning stages of this rivalry, when we finally start getting some matches, I hope Drew McIntyre completely destroys CM Punk.
I was gonna say, man, they're getting to the point where everybody has probably got to be hating that guy soon.
You gotta be sick of him at one point. You gotta Psychopath Drew is great, but damn, do we not start to feel sorry for this guy? Dude just out there minding his business, getting title shots. And then you got CM Punk just coming in to ruin the party every single time. Like, hate him or love him, dude. Pretty soon, Drew's going to get his get back on him, dude. And it's going to be pretty damn brutal. Like we already seen on Raw when he made him bleed, right? Imagine the match. He's going to tear him apart. And I'm not going to say I blame him.
I mean, how could you be Drew McIntyre and not be pissed off? But with that being said, I mean, they're pretty much making it to where, I mean, I think at this point, if the fans don't hate Punk with all the stuff they're doing so far, like there's just nothing they're gonna do that's gonna change that. Well, with that being said, as we have some more people kind of chime in over here, thanks for checking us out wherever and whatever platform you're watching us on. But let's talk about that first, since we're going to talk about Drew McIntyre and that. What were your thoughts on the men's Money in the Bank? What did you think of Drew winning it? And then we'll talk about how it played out later on.
Oh, banger. It was a banger match. Great way to open the show. Exciting. The crazy bumps in that match too. But Drew called a shot, man. And I think he was the right one to win it, I think. Obviously, we've seen how it played out later, but I was kind of curious why we didn't get nothing with Chad Gable and the Wyatt family, or the Wyatt Six. They didn't show up at all in that match, but how about Gable taking that nasty bump off what do they call that? The lanyard, whatever it's called up there. He's hanging off he's hanging off the freaking belt or off the briefcase.
Oh yeah, off the carabiner.
Carabiner, that's what it is.
Falling off the carabiner
first, bro. That looked nasty. Maybe he popped right back up. But
bro, they got to put some respect on Chad Gable's name, man. It was dope to get to interview him at the Royal Rumble. I'm looking forward to getting down there for Survivor Series. But you know,
and that being things to come for him too. Like he's doing some great work right now.
Well, I don't know if you peeped it, and you know, we'll get more into what happened on Raw and the return of Mommy Rhea Ripley and all that stuff. But with that being said, did you peep like how when they had the segment with Dom and Liv in the back, how Gable was in the back with the Creed brothers, man?
Yeah,
I think we're going to get an Alpha Academy 2.0, and they might scrap it out with Otis and Tozawa or something. But I don't know, just peeping out some of them kind of seeds,
and he needs
man.
some backup. I mean, look at the dude's being stalked by the Wyatt family, bro. The Wyatt Six. You need some backup, dude. You can't do this by yourself. I think we all know that.
I think Jay was a big pick too, Bree. I'm not mad at that one at all. But with the way it played out, I think this is a better way for it to play out. But with that being said, man, the crazy part is, man, if you're Drew, what do you do at this point? You got to think that if you get anywhere near the title, you're just going to get screwed at this point.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you. Yeah. What are you looking forward to at SummerSlam? Brock, let us know in the comments. But
another good showing from LA Knight too in that Money in the Bank match when they had the moment on top of the ladder.
He was the other one that I had up there for the Money in the Bank, bro. Like I although I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad with how they finished it, especially with like the order in which the stories are and all that kind of stuff. But like with that being said, it's like, man, LA Knight is still one of the hottest guys you got, but I feel like they keep heating him up, cooling him off, heating him up, cooling him off.
I almost feel like it's only because of what we have on the roster, though. You know what I mean? Because if you recall, right before CM Punk came back, he was probably the hottest guy on the roster. And then Punk returned, Orton returns, you know, John Cena's in and out, the Bloodline thing. Like LA Knight was damn near in the title picture as far as one of the guys we thought might win the Royal Rumble. And yeah, I mean, he's just cooling off, man. But I think it's because of the roster overload. You know, you got Drew, the way Drew's been performing. These guys have really been stepping it up. So it's just unfortunate at the end. I don't think it's anything he did. I don't think LA Knight is not performing. You know what I mean?
Oh, not at all, dude. I mean, the crowd still goes nuts when he goes through. Everybody's still chanting, yeah, every time we're going to an event.
Are we still on track to get him versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam? Is that kind of the latest?
I would be okay with that. Let him be the one to take the belt off of Logan Paul. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. But let's talk a little bit about what came out of all that stuff with Drew and all that stuff. So we talked about how he cashed in. You know, he later in the night would go to try to cash in the middle of the world title match, turns it into a triple threat, and his old friend CM Punk jumps in and screws him, and then on top of that, then we saw it break off into the thing with Punk and Seth Rollins on Raw. So
Yeah,
I don't know, man. What did you think about the triple threat that we saw for the title, and then what did you think about the cash in? Because Damian Priest got knocked out.
was that what it was? So I didn't catch like the dirt sheets or what the actual thing was, but I read that one they thought he may have got knocked out on that Falcon Arrow, but somebody also said that the sound guy actually missed their mark on Drew's entrance music. So it's supposed to be a count of 1, 2, Drew's music hits, and then we go from there. So I mean, I know it was close, but I'm not sure exactly what the actual fact is there. But as far as it turned into a triple threat match, good way to add a layer to that story with Punk and then now Rollins. Like I said, we're planting seeds for later on just to see kind of where it goes. We got a lot of big events coming up, so we'll see how that goes. But I know a lot of people are very upset about the quote unquote wasted cash in, because we do got a Money in the Bank, men's Money in the Bank that's just kind of not there anymore, right? There's no buildup of maybes. But on the other side, we've been kind of spoon-fed some good Money in the Bank cash-ins the past, 2-3 years, especially with the way Priest just did it at Mania. I mean, come on, dude. You don't get no bigger than that. So I'm cool with cooling off the men's Money in the Bank cash-in surprises and all that stuff. Let's give it to the women. Let's get the women some shine. And when Tiffy Time cashes that one in, though, that place is going to
I was going to say, even though we might not have a men's Money in the Bank briefcase, man, Tiffy Time, who, for those of you guys who are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the action. But we talked about this with Greg Gagne, who is actually the one that trained Tiffany Stratton, and he said he knew she was going to be a star from jump. I think she's the right person to win Money in the Bank. And to your point, I think she's going to hold on to it for a while, and she's totally going to use the old school heel, like out of the Edge playbook, and just wait until it's the most opportune time and take that belt back. But I definitely think that Tiffy Time is going to keep the momentum going, because remember, they said during the match the women's Money in the Bank is 100% cash-ins. So I think we're going to see a hell of a ride with Tiffany Stratton and the Money in the Bank.
From what I'm seeing on the internet, the women's Money in the Bank had a lot more interest as far as after the show, especially with that crazy bump that Zoe took.
That Michinoku driver to the ladder was fucking insane,
unreal, dude. That was legit. Like there was one video on YouTube where Michael Cole and Corey Graves were watching, and they legit kind of looked away, like, whoa, like, okay. It was a bit much. Definitely scarce, man. It scared me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brock. We definitely don't need
the Chelsea Green fall from.
I was going to get to that. Yeah, we don't. I was just saying, responding to these in the comments. I definitely don't want to see a special referee situation with this Punk, Drew, and Seth thing. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want a special guest referee.
No, we need a payoff with Drew and Punk, man. Even if it's 2 or 3 matches, and I know a lot of people speculate that the Bad Blood thing could be the payoff, like maybe like a Hell in a Cell type match, but we got to get there first. This isn't just a one match type of rivalry. You know what I mean? This is like a few things need to happen, and there's definitely got to be some brutality from Drew to Punk. So we'll get there. It's going to be a story I think it's going to develop over the summer, and I think it's going to be great. And with Seth Rollins just lingering right there, who knows how that's going to hold up.
Yeah, dude. I think that whole thing's going to be dope. I mean, Drew McIntyre's got to think like the whole WWE's trying to like kill him at this point. But that being said, we got to talk about that Chelsea Green fall from the women's Money in the Bank match, man. We talked about Tiffy Time. There was the crazy Michinoku driver. You got, like Brock is saying in the comments, if my computer will stop running slow, there you go. Yeah, the Chelsea Green fall was like a Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, man.
Dude, that was the Bubba Dudley spot for sure, dude. Like I said, that was insane. She killed it. I'd love to see Chelsea Green kind of used more prominently on TV and stuff, man. Because like I said, she's been really good for a long time. Anybody that watches TNA should remember her from when she was Laura Van Ness, the hot mess.
Yeah.
It was cool to see that Cardona was there as well. But all in all, dude, the women killed it. I think out of the 2 Money in the Bank matches, that was my more favorite of the two. I think Zoe Stark had a really good showing for herself, and then we saw what happened with her and Shayna and Sonya Deville on Monday. So we're definitely going to have to see how that kind of
factions, dude. I love factions in wrestling. I feel like we're bringing a bunch back right now. I'm with that.
I like that there's another one in the women's division because it's almost like it seems like Damage Control is like on its way out, and then this new joint with Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna might, replace it. So I agree with you. I think WWE right now is in a really healthy spot. But speaking of healthy spots and growth, man. We also got the news that John Cena is going to retire in 2025. He said it's basically going to be a retirement tour. But first of all, what are your thoughts on the overall career of John Cena? And what are your thoughts on him announcing his retirement and the way he did it?
All right. So for me, John Cena, man, so I was in my early 20s. So I was like the CM Punk guy back, 2011 CM Punk. When Punk was running away with the title at Money in the Bank. So it was like the anti-hero type stuff for me. So I was never into like the colorful, like kid-loving John Cena. For me, it was the Dr. Thugonomics John Cena was cool. And then once we got into that PG era John Cena stuff, I just didn't care for it. But all in all, when you break it down, you cannot deny that that dude is one of the greatest of all time. He is going to be on everybody's Mount Rushmore. He has done it all, won it all, and beat them all. You know what I mean? So he's had great matches, one of the greatest careers of all time, no matter how you look at it. And for the farewell tour, man, I'd love to see him do some greatest hits as far as like matches. Like one with Randy Orton's got to happen. It's got to happen. I would love to see him go one-on-one with Cody. And then I would love to see him go one-on-one with somebody in NXT. Like maybe even make a stop at an NXT pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Maybe Ethan Page, the new NXT champ. Maybe something like that. Or maybe a Trick Williams or something. Just somebody that's going to be a next big star. I'd like to see him at least capture a great moment on the way out with somebody like that. I don't know who it might be yet, but.
But out of all those names you mentioned, you missed the biggest two. I mean, I'd like to think we got to see him and The Rock go at it again. They've already kind of hinted around at that. And then what about CM Punk and John Cena?
I didn't say CM Punk. I thought I said CM Punk.
No.
Well, yeah, we got to have that again. We got to relive that again. Also, I want to see him tag up with R-Truth on the way out.
Oh my God! If he got to team up with his childhood hero that he's older than,
relive the rivalry with the Miz. We do need the greatest hits, but I do want to see some fresh stuff on the way out. You know what I mean? So overall, what a career! You can't say no more better things about John Cena. The guy is the GOAT. So kudos.
If you guys are watching, let us know what some of your favorite matches and moments from John are. So I'm with you, bro. I used to go watch, and again, we've talked about it. How is the emphasis of the show? But like we used to go watch the pay-per-views at Bailey's when Cena was in like the heyday of his run and stuff like that. And I wasn't the biggest fan of like the colored T-shirt John Cena, but I mean, I literally was just telling my sister the other day. I remember where I was when he debuted. We were in my old house about to go to a Vipers game at the Palace. And we're watching all this stuff go down. And then here he comes in the different city sports team trunks in 2002, smacking the shit out of Kurt Angle. I literally remember where I was when that happened. And then for him to have the evolution that he's had. I mean, dude, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan always of, a lot of that stuff. But at a certain point, you have to give a guy his flowers. At a certain point, you have to at a certain point, you have to like give credit where it's due. What do you think? Like I said, we've talked about some of the matches. I agree with that. I'd like to see some matches against some new talent on the way out, too, like you said, to help them out. I think you've named a lot of the big names, but Bree's over here dropping bombshells. Say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Henry.
I love it, dude.
Appeared
I love it.
in NXT. I'm going to go back and watch that after that.
I seen earlier, too, Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz showed up as well.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
I like it. Trying to get that smoke back on Charlie Dempsey.
Yeah, so, whoa. They're heating up.
Shout out to past guests of the show, Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz.
Thank you. Special summer for those guys. TNA and NXT, whatever they're going to be doing, it's going to be incredible, dude. Right there. Rascals versus Gallus next week. I love that.
All right, so Bree, I mean, I got to go back and I got to see that. But, okay, here's the thing.
I like what Brock's saying down there.
He's Trick's partner. Okay, could you imagine a collab between Joe Hendry and we did like a whoop that trick and Joe Hendry remix? That's what we need. That's what the world needs.
I hope they give him the creative to make some songs. You know, for like he's always
he's already like, and for those who don't know, I mean, this dude's got tons of streams and shit on all the streaming platforms and stuff, dude. Like, I'm with it. And then again, shout out to the homies, you know, Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz, you know, they're past guests of the show. A match between them and Gallus could be nuts. But dude, that's another good topic to talk about. What do you think about the potential for a lot of these TNA guys and girls to show up in WWE or NXT? Because like I was reading today that Jordan Grace said that they redid her contract, so she's going to be up at the beginning of January of next year. So I would assume WWE would be looking at her. Obviously, we saw the Rascals and them jump as well. I've heard there's a lot of eyes on Joe Hendry as well, which obviously if he showed up and was Trick's partner tonight.
Huge, dude. I don't know what the working relationship is or contractual statuses are. Like, it's because you don't want to look at it as like NXT's calling people up from TNA. That's not fair to look at it that way. You know what I mean?
It's not calling people up. It's just going from one company to the other. But man, I mean,
right. But when it comes to contracts, like, what's in it for TNA if Joe Hendry's contract's up and he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to jump to NXT because they're going to pay me more or something. You know what I mean?
Maybe like, so, but here's what I mean.
Don't know how it works.
So I heard people talking about this kind of thing, like when TNA did the thing with AEW. But I think the one major thing that TNA working with WWE does is it puts them on the platform with WWE. Like, not necessarily in terms of like, oh my God, TNA is on the same level as WWE. I mean more so in the sense of if they're working with them and TNA guys can show up on WWE TV, therefore that raises the stock of the people from TNA, I feel like, by them showing up there. Now, could it deplete some of their talent? But if you really think about it, hasn't TNA always kind of been that company that people go there, do good for a few years, and then somebody ends up, you know, they end up getting signed back somewhere? Like, look at what happened with Trinity. Look what happened with, let's see, who else has showed back up over there? You know, Deonna Purrazzo went to AEW, you know, I mean, and now with what we've already seen, Jordan Grace showing up at NXT, you know, you got Joe Hendry. I mean, I think, again, it's showing the level of talent that there is in TNA, and anybody that's been following the show for a while knows. I've been very big on TNA for a while, and I mean, yeah, this could deplete some of their talent. I mean, that's something that even, and ironically with Tommy Dreamer being in creative for them, you know, he experienced it with ECW when the ECW guys went over there to WWE. But ultimately, I think it just brings more eyes on TNA. And remember, at this point, the difference with this with WWE versus TNA and AEW is that WWE and TNA are under the same banner with Endeavor, because I believe Endeavor owns them now. So, I mean, even though, yes,
a working relationship, I'm cool with all of it. And like Bree just said, the Motor City Machine Guns, they're rumored to be signed as a
dude. I am all for that. Anyone that, I mean, we are from the Mitten here. You know, I'm a big fan of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I would love to see them in WWE on a regular basis.
Do you want to see at any point, and Brock and Bree, feel free to chime in. At any point in time, do you want to see the WWE or the NXT versus TNA kind of war, or would you rather it stay how it is and guys just kind of bumping back and forth on different programs?
I mean, if we're not doing a like the War of the Bloodline at War Games, I would totally not be mad with NXT and TNA in the War Games or something. Like that would be something that's new and different. Like I would love that, but
war. I like it. She wants war.
Of course she does. Of course she does. Okay, but I mean, here's the thing: does that happen in a match, or do you think like I said, something like that? I feel like ends up being like a Survivor Series type thing. But I feel like with where we're at with the Bloodline, that would be what we would see that way.
I'd like to see him do like trade negotiations too. You know what I mean? I like to see Shawn Michaels in there, like trading for guys or something. You know, just to make it a little more interesting. I want to see PCO show up. I'll be opening.
Damn straight. Shout out to our guy PCO. I want to see PCO show up there and fuck somebody up. That's I want to see
Halloween Havoc. Sure. If somebody doesn't say, hey, we need PCO for Halloween Havoc, somebody's not doing
that. Would be dope.
You know, so if I can figure that part out, I'm sure HBK's got it covered, man.
Hey, I'm with it, and I want to see what our guy PCO does at Slammiversary here in a few weeks. All right, so we've talked about a lot of the stuff with Money in the Bank, but here you go. Brock's kind of talking about it in the comments. The Bloodline Civil War is must see. The Roman face turn will be absolutely epic. I can't argue that at all. I think that's where we're headed, dude. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing, and that's ultimately going to be where we end up for Survivor Series, which if it does, I'm totally cool with it because rumor says it's going to be in Detroit. So I'm with that. Let's get it. WWE, you hear me now. Give me the credentials, my guy.
Yeah.
You know, we worked Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. I will be down there at SummerSlam. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that's where we got to go at Survivor Series. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out, though, because you've basically got Solo and his crew. You've got Roman and the Usos, but they would need two more as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new Bloodline taking out the Wise Man, bro?
Dude, what a sad. Yeah, it's hard to say sad moment in wrestling was such a great layer to the story, right? But that right there, that alone right there is going to make the Roman Reigns comeback so much more epic. Now you're messing with his Wise Man. You know, you did all this other stuff. Once you put your hands on the Wise Man, the council, you got to pay, dude. And a lot of rumors are saying that he might even come back first with Brock Lesnar, which I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'd be cool with that. But I mean, we would have to have the Bloodline take out Brock Lesnar if that were going to be another layer going into the Roman Reigns thing, right? But as far as the new Bloodline, I'll tell you, out of all the 6-man tag at Money in the Bank, what I took out of that whole thing, it wasn't Solo beating pinning Cody. It was the fact that Jacob Fatu is the baddest motherfucker on the planet. That dude is nuts.
How long have I been singing the praises?
Yeah, right,
man. Like Jacob Fatu is a savage. I think he could go in there and really steal Solo's spot if it weren't a thing of them like being, you know,
in that 6-man tag. Everything he did was awesome and incredible in that match. When he popped up from that DDT from Randy Orton, like he wasn't even phased, and Randy had that look of shock on his face. That's when you know they're putting a lot of faith in that guy, dude. So.
Bro, I've already been singing his praises for a while, but now we've gotten to kick it with the guy a couple times. Like I saw him at Mania when we were there in the hotel. Mm-hmm. Dude is slimmed up, looks like a savage too. And people forget, I mean, he's 32, but man, my man has been working for a while. So I feel like the good thing with Jacob Fatu is he's ready to go too. So I just think he's got main event player written all over him, dude. Like that guy is a savage, and he's such a good dude. I'm really happy to see him getting his shot because that guy is a hell of a dude. But we've also got to talk about NXT Heatwave. NXT Heatwave went down this past weekend. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our other sponsors, Mitten Muay Thai. They are got their next fight coming August 9th, Masonic Temple, Detroit, Michigan. If you like seeing people get knocked the fuck out, if you like seeing elbows and knees and all the weapons being used, Mitten Muay Thai is the way to do that. Make sure you check them out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. But
that's the best commercial in podcasting right now, dude.
Hey, man, you got to get
I
a
love
shout
the
out to
Mitten Muay Thai commercial.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Mitten Muay Thai. Make sure you check out the links. If you guys are in the Michigan area, make sure you come check out the fights. Come downtown and watch somebody get knocked out. You know you want to. All right. It's been a heat wave here in Michigan, but we're here tonight to talk about NXT Heatwave as well. What were your overall thoughts on this show, especially with it having to lead up after Money in the Bank?
Yeah, I was kind of worried about that because obviously it's hard to follow something like a major PLE like that. But still, banger card, dude. They are getting. I don't want to say back to the NXT Black and Gold takeovers old. You know what I mean? But they're damn close as far as these premium live events that they're putting on. But a couple guys that stand out, Javon Evans, incredible, dude.
He's
Absolutely
bouncy.
incredible. And then Obafemi, that dude is
dude's a savage.
Those two guys just stand out for me throughout the the PLE. But as far as the matches, dude, bangers up and down the card. I wasn't disappointed at all. Especially, it's like I said, it's hard to come back from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view or PLE, and then to see that, hard to follow, but they did it, and they showed out, man. Everything was great, if you ask me. And then the Joe Hendry thing at the very end, that had me going. I like that.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm with that 100. Like, I mean, that show was dope. My standouts for that show are obviously shout out to Ethan Page. Totally cool dude. We've seen him out here at Clash and all those things. And for a guy to get let go out of AEW where everybody's like, oh, where's he going to go? For him to, I think he might have been one of the least likely ones people would have expected to go to WWE. And then for him to already be over there and be champ, dude, like, what can you say? Obafemi, Brock's commenting in, Oba straight up launched West damn near out of the ring. Dude, that guy is scary strong. Dude. He spun Wesley like a top. That guy is going to be a star for them for a long time. Shout out to everybody that's jumping in the stream. If you guys are new here, make sure you like it, retweet, share, subscribe, wherever you're watching it. It really helps more than you guys know.
I'll tell you what, I'm kind of with Brock on that finish, though, the main event finish, because I didn't expect it. You know what I mean? They got me. I was like, no way. And then it happened. And I guess that's part of wrestling, right? Not everything's happy-go-lucky and happy endings, but I don't think we've seen – that's not the last time we're going to see Trick Williams with that belt.
You don't think he could be headed for the main roster?
Not yet. Not yet. I think he's going to get a good run, and maybe by Mania, after Mania next year, I could see him come up.
Okay. I could see that. What up, though, Corey?
Corey, what up, dude?
Enjoy yourself in Tennessee. Corey's going to be driving his motor pickle.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Do you see Oba getting called up? Well, he only has won the North American Championship so far. I think that there's still a lot for Oba to do because even though I feel like he's done well on the mic, I feel like we need to get him more comfortable as far as like his talking and stuff like that. And we need to have him in the overall main event picture for a little bit before we can get him up to the main roster. I think he's still got plenty to do between like maybe going after the NXT title and stuff like that. But in the future, oh my God, dude, that guy's going to be a star for WWE. No doubt.
I could see him getting all the way to like the Royal Rumble and maybe even being in the Royal Rumble and dominating a little bit. But I agree with you, Kyle. I think that he's only got the North American title right now. Let's give him a run for the NXT title and see what he does, man. But he's got the potential. Dude's like damn near there. In an emergency situation, I'd call him up. You know what I mean?
I mean, he could definitely be in the Rumble. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. I was a very big fan of what we saw from Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice. Obviously, I'm a little biased with her being an MMA crossover, but man, Valerie Lareda, Lola Vice has really turned it on, done the damn thing in there in NXT. I love seeing all the MMA incorporated in her moves. Plus, I mean, like we talked about, she's just a star. But again, Roxanne Perez, for being as young as she is, I feel like she really showed up. She really showed that she can be the general, and her experience, even for being as young as she is. You know, we've heard all the stories about her coming up with Booker T and all that stuff, but I feel like in this match she really showed her maturity, her growth as a performer. I think as a whole, I think it was a dope match. I think it was a great showing for Lola Vice. I think she's another one who's going to be a huge star from them. And I remember saying when I first heard she got signed off that tryout, I mean, out of a lot of the girls that you could have picked from MMA, she's got to be one of the best candidates as far as having that overall star power. But what were your thoughts on this match, dude?
No, yeah, you're right, man. Like banger match too, and I think Roxanne Perez, like you said, she showed her maturity in that match. Like you got to start to feel confident for her as far as leading the NXT women's locker room, especially with the TNA crossover. So many opportunities and possibilities for that. So that was a match that was building confidence upon your locker room, building confidence upon your stars. Lola Vice, same thing. You're just adding more confidence to her wrestling ability, and she's going to have better matches like that throughout the year. And ultimately, it's just going to add layers to her talent. So that's a building block match right there, if you ask me. But banger, loved it, loved everything about that match. You're right about Lola Vice, though. I mean, I know why you like her, but she's a big star in the future. You know what I'm talking about.
Definitely. All right. We've also got to talk about, we talked about the main event. We talked about the co-main event for NXT. Like we said, Obafemi is a star. I think with the Rascals coming over to NXT, you know, like Bree mentioned tonight, I really like this for Wes Lee because I feel like that could reinvigorate him and have them kind of team up under the NXT banner, which I feel like a lot of people, myself included, always kind of hoped that was something that we could see. You know, like when Zach first came over, I was hoping we could see some more of the Rascals over there, but I feel like that could definitely be a scenario that can happen now with what we've got going on. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to as far as NXT goes. And like we said, I think Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace could be like perfect foils for that, TNA and NXT relationship.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to catch up on NXT after the show. I'm seeing things pop up for tonight.
Thank God for a DVR, man. I never really get to watch that one live because of the show.
But Bree and Brock, because they're keeping us informed, so we appreciate that, of course.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking at tickets, man. I'm ready for SummerSlam, bro. How you feeling about Cleveland?
That's gonna be dope. I'm curious to see where we go as far as all the matches and stuff. But so I see a lot of people on Twitter that don't think. I mean, I'm fine with Solo and Cody, but a lot of people don't think that they're there. Do you think that we're there for that yet?
I mean, you kind of have to now, dude. I mean, he pinned the world champ.
Right. I'm here for it. I do think that we're going to get the first.
I mean, the only other thing I could have saw is Jacob Fatu, but if you do that, then you just killed Solo.
Right. I know a lot of people were saying they wanted Randy versus Cody at SummerSlam, but at this point, I think if we're getting back to Roman Reigns coming back, you got to start planting the seeds. And SummerSlam is the best place to do it. Even if he doesn't make an appearance, maybe just a foreshadowing moment that could ultimately cost Solo the match or something. I think that's where, I'm fine with it. But I see a lot of people on the X machine saying that they want Randy versus Cody.
I mean, but the only other option to me that would have made any sense at this point would have been like a Jacob Fatu. But I mean, he's still so new to the WWE side of things. Like, if you just skyrocketed him right to the title like that, while I wouldn't be mad about it, being that I'm a big fan of his, there really is a thing for having to, like, integrate once you get into that WWE system and being able to, integrate to that. But I think they already know what kind of star he is for the things that he's been doing. I think the longer that he's in that WWE system, the better he's going to continue to get. And so whether it's a slow burn or we burn that bitch at both ends, I think Jacob Fatu has star written all over him.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Before we get to the combat sports side of things, Mommy has had enough. We had the return of Rhea Ripley. We got Liv Morgan giving people hamstring stretches before matches. What are your thoughts on what we saw on Monday Night Raw? And how is Dom going to get out? He's got some explaining to do.
Yeah, dude. I'm not mad at it. It's so entertaining watching them almost be cringy on TV with that. Like you said, the whole Judgment Day aspect, when they peeped in, when Dom was getting his hamstring stretched out and they kind of poked their head around the corner, little humorous things like that get me going on Raw. That cracks me up. But the ending to that show, when Dom was pretty much caught red-handed on top of Liv Morgan. I mean, they're about to straight up some tongue-twisting action up in there. And here comes Mommy looking as bad as she can be. Pissed off, too. Coming out there and chasing Liv off. We're looking back at the Eddie Guerrero China thing, right? That's pretty much kind of the story we're going here. So if it's anything,
watch out for the bouquet of roses with a steel pipe in them next week.
If it's anything like that, I'm here for it. I love those callbacks, man. But that's gonna be a good story leading into SummerSlam. I'm here for that.
So with that said, though, where do we think this goes? Is this the beginning of the implosion of the Judgment Day?
Yeah.
Or how do you think it splits apart? Does everybody go their separate ways? Do JD and Finn stay together? Is Dom going to end up completely out on his ass?
I think Dom is going to be the one to bust it all up. How can we hate him even more, right? We hate him right now. One of the better heels in the game. How can we hate him even more when we get to SummerSlam and he turns his back on Mommy? That's where I think we're going. Ultimately, he's going to be kicked out of the Judgment Day at that point. It's going to be him and Liv. So I think that's where we're going to go. And that the ultimate heel, turning heel even more, I guess, right?
So here's the thing, though, bro. Like, I kind of see it a little different. I think we're going to see the implosion. But remember, Priest, has the world heavyweight title. I would assume that Rhea Ripley is going to be right back in the title picture with Liv Morgan at this point. I kind of see it like, Priest and Mommy are going to talk like they were, the Judgment Day was holding them back to a degree at this point, and that it was too many distractions or that kind of thing. I feel like Dom's going to try to keep it together, but I think eventually, Priest and Ripley are going to split at some point and kind of just do their thing on their own. Because here's the thing. Although for the story, with what they're doing right now with Liv, like, I think that this is dope. Like, this is another talking point. Like, how much does it take away from the actual story of it that people know that Dom and Rhea are married?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all a show at the end of the day, but
So my point is, though, do you think that it takes away from it so much that it kind of messes up the story? Because my point is, then wouldn't you kind of want to see him stay away from the Liv angle after they get out of this, being that then you'd basically be going right back into that?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that could be a thing too. I don't know. It's a question mark, a big question mark. I kind of like that we don't know where it's headed, though. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to call everything, I guess, as they say.
I'm just gonna say, if you ever had to like be stuck in between two women to be like the monkey in the middle.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, Dom's got the best boss in the world in Triple H right now.
Hey, look, that guy is winning at life right now. You've got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan fighting over you in the storyline. And then we've got
the biggest, craziest looking mustache I've ever seen.
My man just got married, so he's married in real life. Got two of the baddest women in WWE fighting over him. I mean, my man's isn't doing so bad right now.
Got to get the mustache and the mullet. That's all. That's what's in.
Yeah, I don't think I would rock the mullet. I don't know that the mullet would work for me. But dude, super Eddie vibes from Dom. So I'm definitely feeling that. I think Rhea Ripley's gonna try to kill Liv Morgan.
Oh, they're going right back into. Did you see the new Rhea Ripley T-shirt?
No.
I mean, all in all, it's the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour shirt with Rhea's shit over top of it, pretty much. Saying "Mommy's back" or whatever. That's it. Pretty
so, do you think she just dumps Dom, or what happens with that?
I think Dom's gonna try to gain her trust, and she's gonna ultimately test him, and then. Like I said, man, if I'm booking the thing once SummerSlam comes, ultimate heel turn from Dom.
I mean, dude, he's already like the most hated guy in the company.
I know, for many reasons. Men hate him and want to be him. It's crazy.
I mean, it's not a bad way to go to work. It's a lot better than going to the post office like I do. But I mean, that's just another story for another fucking time.
Wrong.
But
you ain't wrong, dude.
You know. I guess that's a good place for us to put a pin in that. But before we get off the wrestling stuff and talk about Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal boxing, which, if you guys are boxing fans and combat sports fans, your boys are credentialed for the Clarissa Shields fight as she goes for the heavyweight strap here in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena, July 27th. Your boy will be in the building. Knockouts and 3 counts will be in there for the press conference and the weigh-in. Make sure you check that out so that you don't miss any of the coverage from that. Shout out to Clarissa and the team over there. And I'm looking forward to getting there. Shout out to our guy, Andreas Hale from ESPN as well for putting that on. But with that said, we talked a little bit about this before we went on the air, the WrestleMania vlog. Anybody who's watching this, did you guys watch the WrestleMania vlog? And if so, what did you think about it? J-Bone, what were your thoughts on the vlog?
Well, it finally came. I didn't know that they like pushed it back so far, and I didn't know why. I guess I just wasn't in the know on that one. But for what it was cool. It's cool to pull back the curtain a little bit. And like we know kind of what happens when things like that go, right? We've been around long enough to know when the crowd wants something and all that. But it was cool to see the shift on how they did it. But the thing I also didn't like is that was accessible for everybody. You know what I mean? Like for me, I got a 10-year-old who's really invested in this stuff. And when I got to like explain to her what they mean, you know what I mean? As far as redoing stuff.
Do you think that, I know you and I like the behind the scenes stuff, but do you think that these kind of things are kind of making it hard for kids to get into wrestling?
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to get to. Like, I know we all know what it is. We all know that it's scripted and these are things that they got to do, but like, I don't like it to be accessible to everybody, if that makes sense. And I know that's not a thing they probably even think about, but just for me personally, as a dad and somebody who lets their kid watch this stuff every single time it's on, like, you don't want to know everything. And that was a huge deal, especially for the youth. You know what I mean? That was one of the better stories in wrestling of all time. There was kids crying out there when Cody won that belt. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bitching about it. Not a huge deal. But I just don't think we had to go that far as all that. But for me, cool story. Love to see it. Love to see how it played out. I'm glad they did it still. But I can see why people are like, this was changed around, because I still think it was The Rock pulling all the strings and wanted that main event.
Well, I mean, dude, that was what I was going to ask you next. I mean, like, if they did change it all, like it seems as though they did. I mean, realistically, you'd have to think that would have something to do with it. Like, you know, he wanted to change the narrative of the way that it came out.
Because he didn't want to look like the guy that wanted to be in the main
He didn't
event.
want to look like the asshole. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I
Right.
mean, really, I feel like that documentary made The Rock look like the good guy when he said, you know, I felt in my gut it was best for us to go with Roman versus Cody to satiate that small pocket of fans. What's crazy is it's funny to hear him say it was such a small pocket of fans. I mean, for those of you guys that were watching and watching this whole thing happen, I mean, let's be real. Like, he trended for we want Cody trended for how many days?
Man, yeah. Once that all went down, it was all that was on Twitter. That was it. And we've seen it happen before with the Daniel Bryan thing. Like when the fans know what they want in regards to something like that, like you can't take it away from them, man. And it's just now on the flip side, like they said in the documentary, any other point in time that Rock versus Roman match would have been the biggest match ever. But for what they had us invested in, you can't pull the rug out. You just can't. Because we'd be still sitting here talking about when's Cody going to finish his story.
If Cody didn't win at that WrestleMania and he'd have lost after all that, and then it would have killed him.
It wouldn't have worked at a third WrestleMania.
No.
It wouldn't have worked. So here we are.
I feel like that had to happen when it did. I mean, my biggest thing is it just seemed like they were trying to make it like The Rock just like saved the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of just how it came across. I would love to see what the original cut to that looked like, though.
Yeah, they ain't gonna let us see that.
Oh no,
they won't let us see that.
Did you spot the drummers in that joint?
I did. I seen the homie Mega Ran up in there.
Shout out to our guy T Call from here in Detroit, living out there in Arizona with Rand. Both of them were up there. You know, that day was insane. Like any of you guys who are new here, make sure you go check out Mega Ran on all your streaming platforms with all of his music. He was part of the New Day rap battle. You know, him and Teak got songs on AEW We Are One. He did Xavier Woods' theme song when he was the King of the Ring. Make sure you check him out. I mean, that guy's been everywhere. He was just in the front row next to Cody's mom at Clash in the Castle. But him and our guy Teak, man, they got a call that Sunday. You know, I was trying to figure out where they went. And next thing you know, they ended up on the stage playing out the Tribal Chief.
Pretty damn cool.
Right, and then for that to be shown on the documentary too,
right.
I mean, look, bro, as lifelong wrestling fans, that shit is dope.
Yeah, those are kind of things that you only dream about as a kid. You know what I mean? So, shout out to him for living it out, man. Good for him. He deserves it.
Oh, 100%. No arguments whatsoever there. All right, now we've got to get to the other matters that are at hand. We had Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal go at it in a boxing match that sold out where they were at. They went 12 rounds. Nate Diaz is getting the dub. Fill me in. How were you feeling about this fight, bro?
I liked it, man. It was entertaining for what it was. Like, I'm with everybody, right? We've seen that BMF title match years ago, and of course we would like to see them in an MMA octagon. Of course we would. But for two 39-year-olds to go out there and put on a good boxing match, over 1,450 punches were thrown between these guys, yeah. 39 years old, and you guys are splitting punches like that. I mean, maybe it wasn't the biggest knockdown, drag-out fight that we expected, like in an MMA cage, but for what it was, they put on a better boxing fight than the Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva fight. They put on a better fight than who was the Jake Paul and this last whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was an entertaining fight. So for anybody to say anything bad about it, I think that's just them being a hater. And it is what it is. We see Nate Diaz go out there and do what he does. He likes to throw down, dude. He likes to box, and he did it.
You had Showtime Pettis on there as well, dude. Like, I mean,
yeah. No, it was for what, like I said, for what it was. Maybe it didn't mean much, but it was cool to see those two guys throw down. It was fun. It was a good fight. Nothing bad about it.
100%, dude. Like I said, I'm not mad at guys going out and getting their bag. I hope you both got paid a shit ton of money. I think we'll see Nate inside a cage before.
Side note: did you see the tweet that Conor McGregor made more money than both of these guys after that fight? On that fight, did you see that?
That's insane.
So Conor McGregor placed a bet on Nate
Diaz
to win this fight by decision, and banked out at over $1 million or something like that.
It was 1.6.
Yeah, so he technically made more money.
This guy just stays making money, dog. Like, he just snaps his fingers and here it comes.
Finds a damn way to just. I feel like it's just him being petty, dude.
Hey, Connor, just do me a favor. Break me off like $500K, and I'd be able to leave the post office today.
Bro, we'll do a bunch of crazy stuff on here. We'll wear the Irish flag. I'll don the Irish flag back here instead of the J-Bone Show flag.
That's high praise.
I will. You can go.
That's high praise.
You're not recording anymore?
No, we're recording right now. So.
Oh.
See you later, alligator.
See you later.
Lily cameo. But
Yeah.
all right, man. I feel like we've covered most of the stuff, but we got to talk about this weekend, bro. Like, son of a bitch. We're headed to this Thursday at 9 p.m. Like I said, you guys got to make sure you check us out every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be joined by Miranda Maverick talking about her upcoming UFC fight. We talked to her before her last one with Andrea KGB Lee, which she was victorious in. And I'm really looking forward to having her back on here for her next fight as she gets ready to go to war on July 20th, the same night as Slammiversary. So, J-Bone, what are your thoughts on the return of Miranda Maverick?
With it, man. It's always good. Always good stuff right there. Down with it.
Yeah, dude. I think Miranda was a great guest the last time we tried some of her pickles. Yes, that's right. I tried some of her pickles because J-Bone's a pussy. He doesn't enter any of his bets.
No
he won't try pickles. He won't drink shoeies. It's just insane, bro.
Yes.
Like, this guy just won't pay up on his bets. I really thought that J-Bone was.
You got it. Never mind.
I thought he was a stand-up dude.
Put it all together here.
Still ducking
Pickle
Joe
juice out of his shoey.
Mitten and his shoey.
Yeah, I still that guy. We'll figure that out one day.
Yeah, he's never gonna figure it out. J-Bone just doesn't pay up on his bets.
If I can dodge it forever, I'm cool with that too. But
see what I tell you, But make sure you guys check us out with Miranda Maverick. We'll be talking about her upcoming fight on July 20th. And if you guys are in the concert going mood, we will also be in the building for Detroit's own I Prevail, as they'll be in town this Saturday with Hailstorm, Hollywood Undead. I wonder, are they going to sing Christmas in Inglewood?
Who knows?
It's Christmas in Inglewood. Santa's
Those
back
guys
up in the
crazy.
woods. Meet me under the mistletoe.
Are they opening? Are they opening the whole show?
I don't know who's opening what, because you got to remember they got Fit for a King as well, and then I think there's one for them. So all I know is the nostalgia with that one, and then we've got Limp Bizkit in this motherfucker, man. I'm ready to break some stuff. But I don't want to break my computer, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. But what are your thoughts on all this stuff, J-Bone? What any parting words before we get out of here, bro?
We got a big summer. Catch us everywhere we are. Hopefully we see you there. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're going, we'll probably be there too. So we'll see you there. And
listen to Radio Cobra and the J-Bone Show on the way there. Yeah, but until next time and in the in-between time, man, make sure y'all check them out. Check everything out. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are new here. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Make sure you go and look on our page if you're watching on YouTube. You can go back and watch any of our interviews like the one that I mentioned with Greg Gagne or our past interviews with Miranda Maverick, or the new fight that's been announced for BKFC, Christine Faria, your BKFC champ. You can go back and watch that as well. And a little birdie told me that with all that craziness that happened with that knockout at Karate Combat, we could just be seeing another champion join us real soon. So with that being said, until next time and in between time, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.